latest Vince McMahon sort of WWE nonsense, the second SEC filing made on January 11th made it clear that two board members, I won't give the names because I'll blow the pronunciation of him. He was head of WWE's audit committee and the lead investigator into McMahon's hush money scandals. They both left the board. They both quit. A couple of lawsuits out there about Vince coming back. But Nick Khan gave a interview to Bill Simmons, I think, yesterday as we record this. And on Vince's retirement announcement, Nick says, when Vince stepped down, anyone who believed that was permanent didn't know him. That was never going to happen, but I'm appreciative of the fact he gave it 5-6 months, let the dust settle a little bit, then came back in the way that he's come back. So Nick Khan, maybe he's just saying that now, or maybe he always knew that this was going to be a fake retirement.
Well, that's his view now. I don't know. But I always had doubts, even when he stepped down and the way he stepped down, I'm thinking, there's no way he can come back. There's no way. But I failed to realize Vince's penchant for revenge. He went home, but he damn sure didn't forget. Because Vince is vindictive as hell. You don't get Vince. You may get him one time, but he will stay up late at night thinking about how to get you back. He will actually re-sign you to screw you again. He will say, it's all over, come back. And he'll sign you just to go back and screw you over one more time, just to say that he got the last word. And the more I think about it, Vince went home. A lot of people think he's playing checkers and watching TV and enjoying his golden years of his life. That's the farthest thing from what he was doing. And I brought this up before. He was on that phone. He was talking to every lawyer that could help him, talking about all the investors. And he had this in mind when he left. And Nick Khan said, I appreciate you staying gone 5 or 6 months and letting it die down. Well, Vince has good timing, and he came back at the right time. I think for him, might not have been the right time for Nick Khan and the kids, but he came back and he said, hey, I'm not leaving like this. I'm not leaving in disgrace. I'm leaving on my terms. And when he blackmailed him, saying, hey, you can sell it to whoever, but I'm not going to vote for it. So whoever you sell it to has to have my stamp of approval on it, or it's not going. So he said, the best thing for you to do is let me come back. Let me get back in my old position, even though he's not in creative. He says,
wink.
Yeah, he said, I'm not in creative, but I don't think he can help, but I think he's still in creative. They just not alleging that he's in it. He's going through Triple H, and he will be telling Triple H, not telling him what to do, but highly suggesting what he wants done.
I'm going to give you a couple more quotes. On Stephanie leaving, Nick Khan says, at this moment in time, I think she felt her work was done for now. Nothing is permanent. Life is long. Let's see. Khan also said the rumours regarding a sale to Saudi Arabia last week were 100% fake, 100% made up. So in this process, Vince McMahon is there to oversee it. It's his controlling share. I'm involved in it. Triple H is involved in it. The board's obviously involved in it, etc., etc. But he says that the Saudi sale story, there was no particular truth to those rumours whatsoever, even though Vince may sell to somebody, but all options are out there. Who knows why the Saudi Arabia thing caught fire so quickly?
I don't know either, but I still think Saudi Arabia's in the running. Big time. They have the money. They don't sell these companies just for friendship and a handshake and, hey, great doing business with you. When's the next time they're going to have an $8 billion property to sell? It's going to be a while before it gets there. They have $620 billion in their fund right now, and they're trying to change their country. They want to be more like a Western society. And they already, WWE already knows them. And they've already they're dealing with them, and they know each other personally. So you can say Comcast and Netflix and HBO and Amazon. You can say it all you want, but I still think that Saudi Arabia thing is sitting there. And what they might do with Saudi Arabia, they're telling them, say, well, maybe not now. They're gonna explore what all these other companies will pay them, and then go back to the Saudis and say, we got a deal on the table for $7.5 billion. Can you top that? $8 billion sold.
I actually disagree that Saudi Arabia wants to be a more westernized country. I think that's a front to get more investment and to get a bigger sort of footprint on the world stage. That's my 2 cents. Also in the SEC filing on January the 11th, it was revealed that Shane McMahon earned $828,000, even though he was fired or sent home at the before February, essentially. He was in the company about 3.5 weeks of the entire year.
Well, they paid him the remainder of his salary, I would imagine, and then the WrestleMania payoff, I guess. And they just sent him home, but they didn't take him off the payroll. So that's how he made $828,000.
Oh, that's more than I pay you for this podcast.
Hey, that's a great job. If you get $828,000, it's a great job if you can get it. But then again, what's his last name?
Yeah.
See, and he'll take care of his son. And you hear about Stephanie and the boy, they're arguing with Vince. They're not getting along. They're family. Families are supposed to argue, but at the end of the day, Vince is still going to have last word, and they know that. They can bitch and moan and and pitch a hissy fit and go home and stomp around, but it's still not going to change Vince, because Vince he knows what he's doing, as proven by if you can get run off from a company that you started and have to force your way back in by blackmail. Well, it wasn't really blackmail, it was just a threat that we're going to sell who I want to, so you better be making amends with me. Now, what would have happened if he hadn't have gone back and they said, oh, we want to sell to Amazon, and Vince says no? What would they do then?
Go to Netflix?
Well, he may say, he said, I'm going to say no to everybody till I like it. What he said was, I'm going to say no to everything till I'm back in there. So they had to put him back in there so he can negotiate the sale of the company. Now, this has been rumored for 4 years that they're looking to sell WWE. And at first I said, I don't think they're going to sell it. But hell, what do I know? But they were, and it kept on and on and on. And then Vince and his attorneys and all his media experts, they've orchestrated this company to be right at this very particular spot right now, worth a fortune, and they're getting ready to unload it. Now, if they unload it to the Saudis or to anybody else, how much control will this other company want? Or are they going to let the wrestling people run wrestling? Because a lot of wrestling, not companies, but a lot of wrestling enterprises have been ruined by people that own them. They want this and they want that and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but it was always owned by a wrestling family, a wrestling person who knew what the wrestling fans will buy. And he also should have learned in the last couple of years what they won't buy. But I'm saying, if the Saudis do take over, will there be any changes? Or if Amazon, if they take over, will they want a certain look to the show? They can certainly say that since they own the company, and that doesn't sit well with fans. Now, Saudi Arabia, what I'm hearing is they're not able to sell sponsors to that. They own the golf. They own that golf company. The golf.
Yep, Live Golf.
What's that mean?
I don't know. I don't know what the acronym is, but it's essentially meant to be a PGA Tour rival.
And they signed a bunch of golfers.
Yep. Brooks Koepka and Sergio Garcia. I know all these names will go over people's heads, but yeah, big names.
So if they signed them, what does that mean? They going to pay them all year?
Yeah, there's a roster of golfers there that I think they get paid a certain amount to be there, to jump from the PGA, and then there are prizes for whoever wins the tournament that week, and first, second, third, a ladder down of prize money.
They are having tournaments now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's just not shown on TV.
Exactly, because the PGA is too powerful, and you just know that you know what I mean.
That sounds like a monopoly to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. If there's any legal actions that come from that, they got the money to hire the lawyers.
Well, so do the PGA. Let me tell you, the PGA have come back with trying to up.
They don't have $620 billion, though, do they?
No, but I think they could afford some decent sized, some giant lawyers. Some well-known lawyers to defend them.